Here they come, zooming to meet our thunder. Atom boys, give it a gun. Down we dive, spouting our flame from under. Off with one terrible roar. We live in flame, or go down in flame. Hey, nothing can stop the U.S. Air Force. Over hill, over dell, we have hit the dusty trail, and those caissons go rolling along. Counter march right about, hear those wagon soldiers shout, while those caissons go rolling along. For it's high, high here in the field artillery. Call off your numbers, but it's strong. 2, 3, 4, and where we go, you will always know that those caissons are rolling along. Anchors away, my boys, anchors away. Farewell to college joys, we sail at break of day, 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 day. Through our last night on shore, anchors away. Until we meet once more, here's wishing you a happy voyage home. We're always ready for the call. We place our trust in thee. Through surf and storm and howling gale, I shall our purpose be. Semper Paratus is our guide, our fame, our glory too. To fight, to save, or fight and die, I Coast Guard, we are for you. From the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli, we fight our country's battles in the air, on land, and sea. First to fight for right and freedom, and to keep our honor clean. We are proud to claim the title of United States Marines.
Room 10 Hut! You're listening to MilitaryChatRadio.com.
Hey, and good afternoon to you. This is Military Chat Radio, and I'm Al Young, and you got my wonderful co-host.
Sergeant WP, and hello out there.
And it's another bright, sunny day here in Florida. So, yesterday was our big day at Golden Corral, and we had tons of people.
Yeah, I first would like to say happy belated Veterans Days to all those veterans that didn't come out yesterday for whatever reason, if they were unable to. But we had such a huge success, really, really good time. It was just vets fellowing with other veterans, and truly it was a blessing just being there and just seeing all the veterans, World War II vets that were there, and Vietnam veterans that were there, along with the current veterans. So I truly had a great time. It was a blast. Al, I think you did a wonderful job. So I want to thank you for all that you do to support us veterans. And just, we really want to thank all the eateries that, supported the veterans by offering them a free meal on Sunday, pre-Veterans Day, and yesterday on Veterans Day. Truly want to thank you all for all you do and just showing your appreciation to the veterans.
Yeah, because I, of course, worked the Golden Corrals. My chapter 83, the Disabled American Veterans, chapter 83, again, was out at the Golden Corral in Brandon. And on Sunday after church, I went out there and we were doing our collection. And I went over to Applebee's and we had a wonderful meal, me and about three of the other guys who had been collecting donations at the Golden Corral. And we had a wonderful time. We did such a really good thing as far as doing things over at Golden Corral. Golden Corral every year, just I mean, they just go all out for us veterans, and I'm just so elated at being a part of that. And again, we had our favorite little schools out there with us. We had Riverview High School, we had Spoto High School, and we had Brandon High School. And Brandon has been with us for years. We always count on them, and they always come through for us. And the three schools that we have, and this year, Riverview High School put on a little exhibition for us with their
Fancy drill. I thought
yes,
that
it
was
was so
really nice.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think every year it just gets better and better and better, you know. And this year also we had our radio station out there, so it got so nice, and I think the crowd had a great time. So you know, we just really had a phenomenal crowd. We had a good time. We had Elvis out there.
Oh
He
yeah.
was in the house,
Yeah.
and people were dancing, and the line went really fast. I mean, there were tons of people, and I mean,
Did you ever get a number from Golden Corral how many veterans they fed yesterday?
no, because they didn't get a chance to tabulate that. I was there till almost 10 o'clock last night. We went yesterday morning. We were there at 4:30 in the morning because Channel 10 came, and every year Channel 10 comes,
At
and
4:30
they
in the morning.
yeah because they do a live broadcast at 5:30 in the morning, and you know they they do something for Golden Corral, and they let people know about what's going on, and that was really a wonderful experience. So you know, if you watch Channel 10 every Veterans Day on the 12th
Mm.
or whatever Monday it falls on,
Right.
Channel 10 has honored us every year,
I'm gonna
many
have
a
to
year,
make it out.
and you know, you can't ask for anything better than them. Channel 10 has always supported us, you know, so it's really great.
Unlike Fox.
No, but my whole thing is channel. You know, Channel 10. It's just been great. They've always done it. You know, and it's funny. You know, I like watching Ginger anyway. So you know, my whole thing is, hey, good, my favorite station, and plus Ginger. But they
Yeah.
send such wonderful reporters out there. And yesterday we had a great time.
We did, and I mean, like I said, it was truly an honor. There was so many. I had one. I think it was a Vietnam vet came out, and he just wanted to say thank you. I mean, just simple words, thank you for all that we do. But I kept stressing the point that thanks to the errors and the trial and tribulations that the Vietnam vets went through, as well as the World War II, because we don't want to forget those veterans, they paved the way for us young veterans. So I truly want to thank them because, without them, we wouldn't be able to get as many benefits as we get today.
Well, like I said, it's sort of like a relay. Um, the guys who once were in the military, they pass the torch on to those who are in, and then those who are in now pass it on to the future vets. And it keeps going, and it keeps this country as it is today, the best country in the world. And the traditions that we have just get passed on to the next generation. So we keep things going. And you know, we had a lot of well, not a lot. We had World War II veterans out there yesterday, and it was so great to see them because these guys, you know, are a few, and they're the proud. And you know, even though that goes for the Marine Corps, but it's a very few of them, and it's so good to see them when they come out there. And you know, yesterday was just an extraordinary
Okay,
day.
yes.
You know, and you know what we got a chance to do is we got guys to come up to the mic and talk about themselves from all the different branches of service. And I thought that itself was great. That was the first time we did that, and with the station, you know, everybody had a great time. It
Yeah.
was really nice.
It's funny because I met a 90, I think was 91-year-old
Right.
book author that
Mhm.
wrote
Oh yeah.
a few books about his experience in the military, and it's a blessing just to have a veteran still around at the age 92 writing books, and he was just as vibrant and jolly, and I thought that was a good thing. I also met another man that had 51 years of service.
Oh yeah. I just as I was coming out, I heard about you guys talking about. I didn't get a chance to see him, but I heard you
Yes.
talking about
He
him.
was in the Air Force. He did 31 years in the Air Force, and then he retired and went on from the Air Force and went on to the Pentagon to work and did an additional 20 years. I thought that was awesome. I
Yeah.
told him, I'm still trying to get to age 50, and he's got 51 years of service. So
Oh,
truly, we had a blast yesterday. I just encourage veterans to continue to do what you're doing, be supportive of each other, be each other's eyes and ears. Let's just help each other to get to the next plateau. And on Veteran Day, that is your day to be recognized for all that you do for this beautiful country. I said, we take a lot for granted in this country. For instance, just this election that we had. In some countries, you don't get a chance to vote.
well, listen. In
You, ch-
some countries, there's a whole lot of things that you
you don't,
can't do.
yeah,
You know how many places where can you talk about your elected or not even elected, the officials who are in charge? You know, they you say something bad about them and you can hang it up. You
yeah.
know, either you get shot or hung or you'll see prison for the rest of your life. Here, you could talk about the president's family, and you can say all kind of crazy things as long as you don't make a threat.
Right,
And
right.
you know, nothing happens to you. Matter of fact, you probably get people to join in and talk right along with you. So think about that. You know, here we talking about elected officials and saying all kind of crazy things seems to be the norm, but we take it for granted. You go other places and you better not even say the wrong thing or even suggest something that seems to be out of place, out of the ordinary, out of what they want you to say. Okay? Listen, there are people who have given up everything to ensure those rights.
Yeah.
And every day we take it for granted. And we just got through having an election, and in that election, there were some very bitter things said about each other, and very bitter things said about the candidates, and all kind of crazy things. But you know what? That seems to be the normal thing in America. You know, we can say these things that, oh, I don't like this guy because, and I don't care about this one because, but hey, that's it. That's just the way elections go, and nobody even thinks about it twice.
There's a lot of critics out there, and I tell them, I says, I've gotten the opportunity to do some traveling, thanks to the military, because there's a lot of places that I've been that if it wasn't for the military, I probably would not have gotten the opportunity to travel to some of these places. But I say this, they're so quick to throw stones at, these politicians. The politicians do what they have to do to get elected. And that's just how it is. If you do anything, if you're trying to, just seek some sort of official. Your opponent has got to trash talk you. And, we just hope that it doesn't get carried away. But I say this to say, unless you have been outside of this country for a long period of time, you don't appreciate the freedom you have in the great old USA. You just don't get a chance to appreciate it. So I say that, a lot of times people, trash talk the politicians. They do what they have to do to win that debate, you know. But this is still the greatest country in the world. And I've had the opportunity, and I'm not talking about just vacationing at these small islands that, make it all pretty for us Americans. I'm talking about countries such as
But you know what? Here's the thing. It's like anything. You know, you don't know what you have until
until
you lost it, or till you no longer have it. And it's when you go someplace, and that's the one great thing about being in the military. hey, listen, when I joined the military and they sent me to Europe, I said, "Oh, hey, this is great.
Great.
I ain't have to pay for this." And I was always in the history, so I was a happy camper. But I realized some things, and then when I went on vacation and I traveled different places, I go, "Ooh, gee, I'm glad I don't live here." And gee, I don't like this. But when you live in America, you find out that hey, I'm glad I live here. I'm glad I have this. I'm glad I have that. I'm glad I can do this. And then when you hear about what's going on in other countries, how they're living, how things are going on, how all the bloodshed and everything else. Hey, why would I want to live anywhere else?
Yeah.
Why would I want to go anywhere else? You know, so my thing is we take so much for
Granted.
granted.
Yes.
It's almost sort of like our kids. A lot of times we try to give them the best of everything, and when we give them the best of everything, they don't know how it feels not to have it.
It's simple. And I have to agree with you, Al, because as simple as a pen or a pencil is, and I'm talking about, we get these dime a dozens in
Right.
school, pen and pencils. But when I was in Afghanistan, a pencil was the most important thing to a child in school because that gave them, they said a pencil is the gateway to success. Because if they have a pencil, now they can start to write down their education thoughts. Whereas here, a kid don't have a pencil. It's like, I don't need one. I have a computer.
Yeah, yeah.
Who needs a pencil? Who needs a pen? Who needs paper? I see kids here go to school without writing tools, without notebook. They take it for granted because when they get to school, they have computers that they work on. But these kids in these rural countries, in these countries that they're not, or not rural countries, but in countries where they're not so privy to picking a pencil up, getting a pencil, getting a pen, getting a notebook, they treasure these things. So a lot of times I say that, this is truly land of opportunity, truly land of the great, truly one of the, if not the best, one of the best countries in the world to live in. But yet we take everything for granted because everything is at our fingertips for us.
Yeah, well, I think again, we look at what we have, we take everything for granted, um, and it's because someone somewhere gave up their lives to make sure that we have these things, and someone in that person's family grieved about that person, but someone else somewhere didn't bother to really think about it very much because they just felt, hey, well, okay, uh, I'm an American. This is something that is owed to me.
And I truly want to say, I thank the vets and I wish them a happy Veterans Day yesterday. But I stress the point on the families. I truly thank the families of the veterans that are supportive. I know I want to thank my sister, Martine. I want to thank my mom, my sisters, Kim and Sharon, Audrey. And I want to just thank all my family members that were so supportive of in my absence that were there to take care of my kids. Because without the families of these veterans, where would the veterans be? A lot of veterans, when we ship off and go to these various countries to man the security of Americans, we leave our family members behind. And our family members are there to, jump in that seat and drive on. A lot of wives becomes, wives and husband because they've got to walk the dog, they got to cook the meal, they got to take care of the kids, they got to take the kids to school, they got to do the shopping, they got to wash the car, they got to pay the mortgage.
Yeah,
It's like all the things that they used to share with their spouse, whether it be the wives or the husbands, because we have husbands as well.
sure. And all you have to do is ever just watch television sometimes, and when you see the family members coming back from deployment, all of a sudden there they are, and you see the husbands and the wives
Yes.
or the family members coming back, and it's like they come back from deployment, and there is their family waiting to meet them. And what I look at so much now is you see so many women coming back.
Yes.
And
Yes.
before, it was always just a
The men,
guy.
yes.
And now it's so many women that are coming back from deployment. And these are the mothers, that before they were waiting for their husbands to come back, but now, they're out there. And I look at it and I said, it's how strange how things change. And yesterday when I was looking in the line, I was pulling out a lot of guys, but at the same time, you have to keep asking women, are you a veteran? Because you don't know, because you can't just go by the old thing about, hey, is it just guys? Because it's no longer that thing, hey, guy, I know that you're probably a veteran and this is probably your spouse. It's, no. And the funny thing was yesterday, remember the guy who was the real tall guy?
Oh yes, yes.
And
He
his
was
wife,
retired Army.
yeah, and his wife was what was she, Navy?
Yes.
Yes, and they were such a nice couple. But when you talk to her, she was the first one, and she was saying, "Oh no, get him, he'll talk." But I got both of them, and they were really a nice couple. But it was nice. The both of them came, and they were talking about themselves. But she didn't want to say anything, and just to get her to talk was really cute, because it was a thing that a lot of times people don't say about themselves, don't let you know. But when we have veterans, veterans are all over the place. And a lot of them don't tell you that they're a veteran.
Yes.
It's just that, hey, I did what I did. I'm proud of what I did, but I don't tell I don't tell the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
And a lot of us are very proud of the fact that we're veterans, and we kind of like scream it out all the time.
Well, I have to say, years ago, I would not have told anyone I was a veteran because it's like we're so used to it; it's our job. But now, I mean, I want the world to know what we do as far as for the military and how supportive that we thank all the people that support us because veterans make up a large majority of our security for the United States of America. And nobody likes war, but if you don't have people to secure your country, then when war does happen, guess what? You're defeated before you get started.
Yeah, well, you know what I do? I think because I talk to so many veterans when I get a chance to. Now, I wear my little hat that says retired all over it because I'm very happy about the fact that, hey, I retired. So, and then so many of us, we stop each other and we say hello and how are you and what have you. And it's funny that there are so many people out there who have been in the military, it's amazing. You'll pass by somebody and a person will just say, "Yeah, I was in also." I was in the Navy or I was in the what have you. And then yesterday, there, again, the surprising part was how many people I spoke to who have never really put in a claim, who was just saying, "You know what? I went in and